Turn this down so I don't get copyright claim, copyright strike, whatever you want to call it. Oh my god, brother. Oh my god, brother. Oh my. By the way, I cannot see the live chat because it's for some reason not working. Um, so something went wrong. It just gives me a monkey with a hat on. But yeah. But let me double check. We are live. I think we are. What is everybody? It is Mars Sports. It is your boy Marshall. Today we have coaches hot seats, or not necessarily hot seats, but so basically last week I started a series of what is it? Basically, last week I started a series of where I predict every coach is going at that point in time, and I'm planning to make this a weekly series. Just because I think it'd be really really fun, like predict where everyone's going, all that. Yeah, but this week we have our audition. This week, there have been changes made to this because two coaching jobs just opened. So today, first off, Colorado State fired Jay Norvell after last year. He's actually had a decent season, and then just like completely fell off the face of the earth this year. But Jay Norvell got fired from Colorado State. Might not be the last Norvell that gets fired before the season ends. Um, but yeah. Um, so yeah, that happened. And Colorado State was actually a decent team last year, but they kind of like fell off a bit this year. We'll admit. But yeah, I think they're like 2-5 right now. Yeah, there's that. And the big one today, Florida fired Billy Napier, or as Squidtard Sports would say, Billy Napier. Uh, after actually beating Mississippi State. Granted, it's Mississippi State. They're not that. Yes, they're better than they were last season, and they ended up in Arizona State. But I still don't think they're that good of a team. They're not gonna win. They might win like one or two SEC games this year, but like, yeah, it's not looking great for them. Yeah, but let's just be completely real. Um, yeah, but Florida State, I think honestly, Mike Norvell, not Mike Norvell, Florida for Billy Napier, I think it seems like he always performs the best when he's on the hot seat, and then he just falls off again. I think he was like, no, it's like, nope, you're out of here, bro. What's crazy was everyone just forgot about Billy because what crazy was last season, Billy Napier was on the hot seat for most of the season, and then he ended up beating LSU, Ole Miss, to two of the teams, and then he also beat Florida State and Tulane in the season. So everyone just completely forgot about how bad he did, and then once he also saw Florida, he was right back on the hot seat. Then they beat Texas, and then everyone's like, okay, here we go again. And then they lost the Texas A&M, and then they beat Mississippi State. And it's been weird for Coach Napier, but yeah, so at least that means 10 coaching jobs are open in college football, which is absolutely wild this year. A lot of coaches have been getting fired. I'll give you my predictions. Anyways, let's see if I can do this. First off, I will have the funny AI generated images on the community tab after the stream ends. So I did AI generate, just like see what it was like if they actually coached it. But yeah, but there's that. I use the Chat GPT images to like I say, I don't know, put Ed Ogeron as the Florida head coach. That would actually look disgusting. That happened. I love Coach Ogeron, but I do not want him to go coach Florida. That would actually suck. It would be almost equivalent to, well, not necessarily equivalent. It would be very similar when Nick Saban was Alabama after he went to LSU. Yeah, yeah. There's that. Anyways, let's do this. So, 10 coaching jobs are open in college football right now. As really 9 coaches have been fired this year because Stanford's are in a weird situation. Although they just beat Florida State yesterday. So, what do I know? Or today, if you're on the East Coast because time zones. But yeah, That means Penn State, Oregon State, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Stanford, UAB, Florida, and Colorado State's coaching jobs are open at the moment. So yeah, um, and this is what I think so far after week 7 or week 8. Sorry, God, the season's been going by fast. Who I think will happen, who I think will take the coaching jobs and all that. Yeah, let's do this. So, is Nintendo Switch 2 one of the patches for the Seattle Mariners? That's amazing. Sorry, right now I'm watching the Falcons on the YouTube TV multi view, which I love these multi views. It has the Falcons 49ers game on right now, and on the other side, Seattle, not Seahawks, the Mariners Blue Jays game on. I actually haven't watched much of the MLB playoffs. I haven't really watched at all, but like I'm planning to watch more of it as I go on. Yeah. So I went to 2 Rangers games this summer. Saw them play the Detroit Tigers and the Padres, and they actually lost both times somehow. But yeah, they always lose when I see them for some reason. Rangers went 81 and 81 this year. How some of they went 500 in a 162 game season? That's crazy. They were completely mid this year. They were mid, bro. That's the definition of mid. Like 81 and 81, bro. Come on, that's like you're half and half at that point. I see Bijan Robinson. Yeah, there's that. Anyways, I'll stop yapping about baseball. So let's do this. By my live chat, I cannot see it. So yeah. Oh, you might have noticed. You might have noticed something. Yes, I got a new phone. I got the new iPhone 17 Pro because my other phone broke. Basically, the battery was cooked, the iCloud storage was cooked, and yeah, the screen was cracked. So yeah, I was just trying to get repaired, but I was like, nah. But they just said just to get a new phone, which has double the amount of storage from last time. So yeah, and actually has one of the privacy phone protectors. I don't know if y'all can see it, but like, look at this. I love this so much, bro, because I hate one of my pet peeves is when people just look at my phone, see what I'm doing, or like anything. It's not. It's just kind of weird, honestly. Like I really have my privacy, but yeah, it's like Cincinnati Bengals colors. My parents are joking is Texas colors, so I went like, yeah. Anyways, but let's do this. So let's just start off. Let's just go through the ones that I think are going to stay the same, have the same right now. Let's start off with Penn State. I do think, yes, I know UNLV has got their first loss this year, but I do think Dan Mullen is still going to be the coach of Penn State next year. Yes, okay, I just said that, but I know UNLV just lost to Boise State yesterday, but I think if you put Dan Mullen with a good defensive coordinator, which I don't even know, I think they had the defensive coordinator from uh, Ohio State last year. Granted, that not as good of a defense, but obviously, but still. Um, I think if you pair him with what is his name? What's his name, bro? Who is the Penn State defensive coordinator? No, not the whole roster. Oh, forgot his name. He was at Ohio State last year. Now he's at Penn State. Not Bill Carter. Uh, Jim Knowles. That's who it is. Apparently, Jim Knowles, and he can actually get the defense going. I mean, that'd be a great accomplishment. I mean, that'd be great to balance out both. I think you have a great offense and a great defense. I will say, Penn State is kind of in a weird situation right now. Obviously, without James Franklin, but yeah, there's that. But I think Dan Mullen will end up being their coach. So yeah. Oregon State, I'm still sticking with Ed Orgeron. Actually debated Mike Gundy as well. So I think it'd be funny if he went from one orange, white, and black, or orange and black OSU to another. But I think Ed Orgeron is going to end up coming back to college football. I think that just makes the most sense for him, like team wise. I mean, it's sort of a power team, but like a former power team that like needs help just to get back to where they were. And then now that they joined the Pac-12 well, they're already in the Pac-12. Now they're actually getting teams to join the Pac-12 with them. I think that's a great opportunity for Orgeron to make a comeback. But yeah, I think Oregon State's a good place to start for him. So I love it. I know he had some weird stuff after the national championship. But I love Ed Orgeron, bro. Go Tigers. Anyways, although I'm not feeling very good after losing to Vanderbilt yesterday. I'll talk about that later when we get to hot seat rankings. Because yes, Brian Kelly is in there somewhere. Arkansas. Listen, I know that the Florida job opened up, but I do think John Gruden is still going to be the coach of Arkansas. Because I will admit, as an LSU fan who is literally which Arkansas, Florida, both rivals to us. I'll say Florida honestly is a much more prestigious program at this point. Just like, what does he want? What do you want, bro? I'm live streaming.
Live streaming.
Just say hi to the live stream.
I live stream.
Okay. What's up?
Wait, pause it. Pause your live stream if you can.
I'll just mute it. All right, so now let's go over. Sorry about that, guys, but I'm just talking to you because you haven't talked to him in like an hour. But yeah, um, but I will say I think there's a good chance John Gruden does go to Florida. But I actually have another coach in mind. I think that's actually take that Florida job. But I think John Gruden's going to be the coach of Arkansas. I feel like that makes the most sense, my opinion. Still, I mean, Florida makes a lot of sense too. But like with who I think is going to be the coach there, I don't think John Gruden's going to end up there. There's definitely a good chance, though. I think it's either Arkansas or Florida he ends up at. But, um, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Virginia Tech. Listen, I think it would be hilarious if Alex Golish ends up at Florida, just because he's their daddy. But I do think Alex Golish is going to Virginia Tech. I mean, yes, there's definitely a chance he could go to Florida, which honestly would make sense geographically. It would be hilarious, but like that's my store.
Maybe you should hire him so you can take his job in here.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, Golish though, I think he's one of the best coaches in the group of five right now. I mean, that Florida win put him on the mat and like they've been really good so far. The one loss is to Miami. That's a really good Miami team. Yes, they just lost a Louisville, but still. I think Alex Golish will still end up at Virginia Tech. I think Tim Skipper's still going to go to stay at UCLA. He's a permanent coach. UCLA has really like gotten much better since Deshaun Foster was fired. So yeah, but like man, Penn State, they beat Penn State, they beat Michigan, and they beat Maryland. So credit to them, man.
I experience art every single day.
That's actually real.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
In your town.
Oh yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah. Are you like a lingual here?
Yeah, I own the school too. I own the city as well. Yeah, all right. Stanford, I think Andrew Luck's going to end up being the coach still. It's just, like I said last week, it feels like he just wants to coach Stanford at this point, which would make the most sense, in my opinion. Just, we at least get Andrew Luck for at least something in football again. Yeah. Even if it's not playing. But now here's where we get to the news, the things that have changed. You might have noticed that I haven't said a few teams yet, because we're still getting to them. So let's start off with let's see which one makes the most sense. Let's start off with UAB. UAB. So last week I had Mike Gundy being their next coach, but because I was under the assumption that they'd be crushed by Memphis, but UAB's first game without Trent Dilford as the coach. Well, not first ever game in history, but you know what I mean. First game without Trent Dilford. They beat Memphis, one of the best group of five teams, which is absolutely wild, bro. Like that's an amazing win for them. Their interim coach Alex Mortensen was very happy. I was so happy for him, man. I mean, I think he had an emotion. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I believe he was very emotional about it for good reason, obviously. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment for UAB. Congrats to them. I mean, it's probably the biggest accomplishment they've had since they beat LSU, like 25 years ago. Yeah. Is that wait, what the frick? What restaurant's that? Oh my god! Of course it's Subway, bro.
Feed me.
Yeah. Oh, there's the next button. Okay. Nah, go Jersey Mike's, bro. But yeah. Uh, what is it? But Alex Mortensen, I think he's bringing the coach. I think he's bringing the program with some like momentum again. And honestly, I think he's gonna end up being the permanent coach at UAB. Because I think he could continue this momentum. Like I don't know who else they're playing this season. UAB schedule. They play. Well, I think they have an off week. Yeah, the off week. Then they play UAB, Rice, North Texas, South Florida, and Tulsa. I don't think they'd be North Texas or South Florida. But I think they could be all other teams. Yes, even UConn, who just beat who just beat the brakes off Boston College. So not necessarily beat the brakes, but like they beat Boston College. Yeah, yeah. Granted, Boston College is not very good, but still. I think Alex Morrison will be the next coach of will be the permanent coach of UAB. So yeah. Now Florida. Florida's one that's very interesting because he's fired Billy Napier, but you're probably noticing someone that's missing out of my coaching rankings so far. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I think James Franklin's going to be the next Florida coach. Because last week I had him at Oklahoma State. Because at the point, I was probably the one that made the most sense at the time. But at this point, I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna go to Florida. I think he can really turn that program around at some point. We saw what he did at Penn State, and like it was only 3 games he lost. Granted, it's still not great, but like it's not like James Franklin was washed or anything like that. So I think he deserves a second chance. I think he'll be at Florida. Um, which I think makes the most sense for him compared to Oklahoma State. But and you are going honestly to a better conference. Yes, the Big Ten has won national championship the last 2 times, but like the Big Ten, the thing with them, they're very top heavy. They have, of course, you're putting up your live stream on your phone. You have VIP access, bro. um, very the lowest latency you can possibly get. Yeah, anyways, but I mean, what was I gonna say? Like Florida, because like, oh yeah, because the Big Ten, you have Ohio State. At least as of recent, you have Ohio State, you have Oregon, you have Indiana, you had Michigan at one point, and you, of course, you have Penn State. Everyone else in that conference is kind of mid, I will admit, or mid or bad. I don't know. It's just like all the other conferences, they're like ACC teams probably. No offense, yeah. But SEC is you have a lot. I feel like it's as a whole is a lot better in my opinion. Yeah, they got a bunch of teams that could win a national championship in there. Like I think over half the teams in the conference could be in the playoffs. Meanwhile, in the Big Ten, there's only like a few. But yeah, anyways, I think James Franklin ended up at Florida. I think that makes the most sense. What? Okay, bye. To save, okay. No. I usually just gone. But I think James Franklin makes the most sense for Florida. Florida, I think he's an experienced head coach at the Power 4 level. That's perfect for them. So yeah. But I mean, James Franklin, though, let's be completely real. He led his team to almost led his team to national championships. Yeah. But yeah, I think he'll be the next coach of Florida, which means that Oklahoma State job is open again. Well, at least in this predictions. I think Oklahoma State's actually going to now with Florida. Now with me thinking, now he's putting James Franklin in Florida. I think Oklahoma State's going to go for someone else. I think you're going to go for a very good group of 5 coach. Um, and it's actually not terribly far away from Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State is going to end up getting Eric Morris as their next head coach. So if y'all know who he is the head coach of North Texas. And he's done a very good job with them. I mean, he's been getting better over years. He's probably the best North Texas team in forever. So yeah. Yeah, in a while at least. But I was at their game against South Florida. Granted, they got crushed in that game, but still. I think Eric Morris. I think he put Oklahoma State a powerful program. I think he'll be. I think it'll be a slow build, but I think he'll be really good with them in the end. Yeah. But I think I'm not saying they're gonna be really good off the bat, but I do think Eric Morris will actually get that program some life again. But yeah, I think Eric Morris will end up being the head coach of Oklahoma State. And as someone who actually is a fan of North Texas, like my second favorite team behind LSU. Um, I think it kind of sucks to see him leave, but I mean, to be fair, I think Oklahoma State is a more prestigious team in my opinion, obviously, because granted North Texas is much better this year, but than Oklahoma State, but still, everyone's better than Oklahoma State. I mean, they lost to Tulsa, bro. What do you expect? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think Eric Morris will be the next coach of Oklahoma State. Now it leaves us with Colorado State. This one I was debating on 2 different coaches. I was debating, but I think come with the conclusion. This dude, he just got fired today. I think he'll get a coaching job at a group of 5 or group of 6 team. I think Billy Napier will be the next coach of Colorado State. Colorado State, I mean, I think for them, Billy Napier makes the most sense because Billy Napier, let's remember, he was really good at Louisiana. He put Louisiana on the map, and he got hired by Florida. And let's be real, Florida has more issues than head coaching, in my opinion. But yeah, but I mean, Billy Napier, I think he put him back in his comfort zone in group of 5. I think that makes the most sense for him. I think it turned Colorado State into like a legit Mountain West contender. But yeah, but it's funny. Let's say Dan Mullen ends up staying at UNLV. You'll have I guess UNLV's not joining the Pac-12, but you'll have 3 SEC coaches and a group of 5 teams, and either in the Mountain West or in the Pac-12, or going to be in both at some point, not both at the same time, like one from another. Because UNLV will have a Dan Mullen. Let's just say Bergeron goes to Oregon State. Of course, he used to be at LSU. Obviously, coached that 2019 team. Um, yeah, and also, of course, Dan Mullen's at Florida and Blaine Napier's at Florida. So if Colorado State and UNLV somehow play each other next year, which I don't think they will because they're not going to the same conference next year, that'd be hilarious. Blaine Napier versus Dan Mullen, or should I say Blaine Napier? Yeah, but there's that. But I think he'll be the next coach of Colorado State. I was debating him or Mike Gundy, but I think Blaine Napier makes the most sense. I think he has more potential than Mike Gundy at this point. Mike Gundy has time, I will say, but I think he's still got potential to be good. Still, it's just didn't look great for the end. Didn't look great to end that or Oklahoma State. I think Billy Napier looked better when he got fired compared to Mike Gundy. Yeah. So, anyways, now we got coaching hot seats right now. So this is according to the website. Mike Norvell's number 1 right now. Honestly, if it weren't for the Alabama win, he'd probably be fired at this point. But yeah, I think if he gets fired, he'll end up in group 5. Hugh Freeze is number 2. This one doesn't shock me too much, but Auburn's not a bad team. Just they keep on losing games in the most ridiculous ways possible, whether it's their fault or not. Bill Belichick, yeah. It honestly sucks to see. This is why Jordan Hudson should not be your wife, bro. Jeff Cho for Nevada is also in the hot seat. That makes sense. He hasn't been great, but he has been very good. Joe Moorhead, number 5 from Akron. It's not Hall's fault. It's just Akron can't even make a post of the game this year. Luke Fickell, number 6. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten fired yet. That Wisconsin's offense has been absolutely horrible. Might be the worst offense in the Power 4. Maybe even in the FBS, honestly. They look awful, dude. I don't think they scored in their last 2 games. They look genuinely awful on offense. By the way, about Florida State. Well, Florida State, yes, okay. It's okay, you lost to Virginia and Pitt, but both are pretty good teams. You'll probably beat Stanford, and then they lost Stanford. Okay, now you're done because you just lost to one of the worst teams in the Power 4. Okay, now I give up on y'all. Wisconsin. I think the problem is his buyout is too big. Yeah. Um, yeah, they haven't scored a game, or they haven't scored a point since they played Michigan earlier this month. They've been outscored 71-0 in their last 2 games against the Iowa and Ohio State. Granted, they're both good teams, but come on, you got to at least score a point on them. Come on. Honestly, Wisconsin is Purdue from last year if they actually had a better defense. But yeah, Wisconsin's not the worst defense. That's what's keeping Luke Pickle there, even though their defense isn't that good still. But yeah, yes, shut Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio doesn't have much of an offense, at least to start the season. But yeah, there's that. Butch Jones. I think his seat's actually getting a little colder because he's won a few games. He made a come back against South Alabama. I think it was Tuesday Night Football or whatever. Yes, it actually exists. Of course, he beat Texas State as well. Justin Wilcox, number 8. He beat North Carolina, but North Carolina, they suck this year. Sonny Cumming, number 9. I don't think he's getting fired, honestly. I mean, I just don't see a scenario where he gets fired. Because Louisiana Tech's actually not a bad team. Did they lose yesterday? God, I cannot spell Louisiana for crap. Okay. Um, yeah, I also kind of saw they had a bye week this week. What the heck? Why put their bye weeks 3 weeks apart from each other? Why did they put their bye weeks so close to each other? If they beat Western Kentucky, he's not going to hot seat anymore. But I think Kennesaw State's actually a good team this year. Also, Justin Wilcox for Cal. I mean, if you get shut out by San Diego State, you're automatically on the hot seat by default. You get shut out by anyone, obviously, like San Diego State of all teams. Granted, San Diego State's a good team this year, but yeah. I think San Diego State could be a dark horse for the playoffs this year. Derek Mason, number 10. I mean, Middle Tennessee State just sucks, bro. And Del McGee at number 11 for Georgia State. Yeah, that's fair. Scotty Walden for UTEP at number 12. Fair enough. Jonathan Smith for Michigan State. I mean, that makes sense, honestly. Michigan State has just, yeah. Mark Stoops in our 14. Once again, he just comes close to winning a game. You know, he can't win it somehow. They almost beat Texas, but they couldn't beat it. He had him in overtime, yeah. Jay Swivel, number 15. Hey, you shut out Akron, but, I mean, I should have not paid attention to Wyoming lately. They're 3-4. I mean, that's not very good, but yeah. Lance Taylor is one also in the hot seat. Western Michigan, they're on clutch. I mean, we saw what happened against North Texas. They're not terrible. I mean, they actually have. I guess they're on clutch at point. They've actually have improved though a bit. They're 4-3. They're actually not a. They're not a bad team. They've won the last 4 games, so I think that hot seat is cooling down. Yeah, bye. But of course, their last game was when they shut out Ball State 42-0. Granted, it's Ball State, but still. Tim Beck at Coastal Carolina. I think they improved since the last time they played. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. They're 4-3. I mean, they're decent. They beat Appalachian State, and their offense actually came alive for once. Voice crack. Ricky Rain, really him of all people, after beating at the Andy Grant Prize career. Okay, yeah, they do. Yeah. Okay, yeah, they got crushed by JMU. Okay, fair enough. Um, Shane Beamer, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's just he's inconsistent. And at number 20, Brian Kelly. Even though we have 2 losses, but I also guess an LSU fan. He's a seesaw, bro. 1 year we'll have a good offense, but a terrible defense. Then the next year we'll have a great defense, then a terrible offense, and it'll just be in the middle, just be mid in both sections. It's just he always brings a good team. It's just he's held to such a high standard at LSU for good reason, obviously. We're expecting national championships, but he's not giving us that. Yeah. Blame it on your coordinators all you want, but like you can run out of excuses, man. Just saying. I think he's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. It's just he kind of falls short of expectations a lot. I mean, yeah, it's long season, but we're at the win out from like the playoffs. I mean, we lost to freaking Vanderbilt yesterday. Vanderbilt, dude. Like, granted, Vanderbilt's actually a really good team this year, but still, losing. We should not be losing to Vanderbilt. I don't care how good they are. We should not be losing to Vanderbilt. Obviously, Ole Miss we lost to as well, and our defense has completely died yesterday. Apparently, yes, Whit Weeksby now hurt, obviously, but still, just if we lose 3 in a row again, Brian Kelly's getting fired. Like if we lose to Texas A&M next week, if we lose to Alabama, uh, Brian Kelly's gonna get fired. That's my guess. It wouldn't shock me at this point. Yeah, but his buyout's really big. To be fair, yeah. I'm not. I'm not gonna jump to conclusions yet. If we lose to A&M next week, and then we lose to Alabama, yeah, I might want to consider firing Coach Kelly at this point. Yeah, because you have because not just those games, you still have Oklahoma and Arkansas. Yes, Western Kentucky. We're gonna beat them though. Okay, if we lose to Western Kentucky, I give up. Yeah, but I mean, if they actually fire Brian Kelly, which I don't think they will, but unless he loses 3 games in a row again, then yes, they're gonna fire Brian Kelly. But I think it'd be hilarious if John came back. I don't think he's gonna come back just because like I don't think it's in the cards for him at the moment. But yeah, just we saw what happened in the Erdogan's career. Yeah, I mean, he can develop a great team, but he can also develop a very mid team. Let's be real. But yeah. Anyways, y'all, those are my hot team ranking. Not my hot seat rankings. Those are the hot seat rankings on hot seats on coacheshotseat.com. Yes, it's in the name. Yeah, but pro. Yeah, anyways, thank y'all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a nice day and goodbye. See you next one. Peace.